so today we're going to be talking about the M7 6.8 by 51, and unfortunately I don't have a pointer, so we'll just be using my finger for now, but I will get something soon. And I know, before anybody ruthlessly attacks me in the comments, yes, I know, I said in multiple videos, long before things became trendy to hate on this rifle, I do not like this rifle, and I generally do not think it's a good idea for a general purpose military rifle. And I said this long before this rifle became basically the Nickelback of the gun world, and it was just accepted to hate on the rifle. This isn't a hate video though. This is an honest conversation about what the M7 is, and more importantly, what it is not. The M7 was designed specifically to solve one particular problem: defeat modern body armor at distance. To do that, the military went with this new cartridge called the 6.8 by 51 NATO, or 6.8 Spear. Basically, it's a two-piece case with a metal base at the bottom where the high pressure is, that is able to handle pressures that typical brass could not handle. An entirely different manufacturing approach. From an engineering standpoint, this is impressive. And this is where the true innovation lies, because now we're able to achieve velocities that normally you could only achieve out of a Magnum case. So that means we can take these Magnum velocities and ballistics and shove it into a semi-automatic package, which is exactly what's happening in the 6.8 Spear, or the M7 as it's called in the military. And it's affecting a civilian market too. Look at the Federal's new 7mm backcountry. It uses a one-piece case, which I think is better than the two-piece case, because now we're learning how to manufacture it more effectively. And it's doing it at 80,000 PSI. So it's a 30-06 size case, but you're getting Magnum velocities out of it, which is absolutely amazing. It's going to fight the wind better, it's going to be flatter shooting, it's going to have better ballistics. Everything about it is going to be better. The technology in the NGSW is going to trickle down to the civilian market, and we're going to ultimately win from it. Like I said, we're already seeing this technology trickle down across the industry. As the technology advances and stuff too, it's probably going to change the future of cartridges. All of our 308s, 223s, all those 60,000 PSI cartridges are going to be obsolete, and they're going to be replaced with 80,000 PSI cartridges, because now we know how to make a case that can handle it. And it's literally going to change how firearms shoot. Yes, there's going to be disadvantage to it, like wear, recoil, stuff like that, but now we can get super ballistics, is what I'm going to call it, in a semi-automatic package. Don't have to go to a bolt gun anymore, so that's really cool. And just so you guys don't forget, if you'd like to help support this channel directly, the best way to do that is shop at OnlyTacticalFans@Shopify.com, where you can purchase some of this cool merch. The fact of the matter is, this channel is demonetized right now, and it's likely going to be demonetized indefinitely. Unfortunately, this is my bread and butter of how I make a living. So instead of getting paid by YouTube now, and by my views, what I'm doing is going to transition over to merchandise. Right now, it's merchandise that's just designed to support me, like channel merch, cool designs like that, but ultimately I am going to switch it over to things you want. So there's going to be like MREs and stuff there. So make sure to check out the OnlyTacticalFans@Shopify.com and see if there's anything you'd like to buy today and help support the channel today. Here's the issue of why I don't like the rifle. The military doesn't just adopt a new rifle. It's adopting several things with going the NGSW. It's adopting a heavier weapon, it's adopting heavier ammunition, it's adopting more recoil, it's adopting more wear, which you're going to get at the higher pressures, and it's going to adopt a higher amount of time to train the soldier how to use it. Look, the fact of the matter is, a rifle that recoils less is easier to teach people how to use. So, like I've said in other videos, I do not believe this is a good idea to replace the M4 with it. Now, I do think it's cool to add into the military's toolbox for like special forces operators, or if there's a mission specific for this rifle, but to just give it to everyone, I think is stupid. Now, in the other videos I said this would never, ever, ever replace the M4. And I truly meant it, because it just is not the right tool for the job. However, things have changed. Trump threw a whole bunch of money at the military budget. And what are you going to do with the big budget? You're going to spend it. And because this is out there, it's likely, honestly, going to be adopted as the next military rifle to replace the M4, whether or not it's the better rifle, just because they have the money to do it. So why not? So we'll have to see how that plays out, but it's probably likely going to be the infantry rifle. Do I think it's the best tool for the job? Again, no. It does have its disadvantages. Yes, it hits harder. Yes, it carries more energy. But warfare isn't about ballistic performance. It never has been. Warfare is about logistics. We won World War II because we won World War II because we were able to out-manufacture everyone. We were able to have a supply chain that didn't get broke, And let's face it, this rifle is going to be harder to manufacture. The ammunition is going to be harder. It's going to take more powder, more lead, more brass. It's a two-piece case, so it's going to take longer to manufacture. It's going to be slower to bring to the table. Yes, on a small scale, it's just fine. It is. But if two countries start trading blows, manufacturing is what wins the war. Not some bougie, high-tech, super freaking awesome rifle that can do something awesome that the M4 can't. Yeah, again, it does have more kinetic energy. It really does. It has better ballistics. It shoots flatter. That doesn't win the war. More planes win the war. More ammunitions win the war. More ships win the war. And we went from a cartridge that we could mass produce on an insane scale just because there's little materials in it, little powder in it, little brass, little lead, to something that's going to be exponentially harder to manufacture and use more resources to manufacture. So supply chain, looking at it from a supply chain standpoint, the 6.8 by 51 is not the way to go. It is a harder cartridge to manufacture, it's going to be slower to manufacture, and it's going to cost us more resources and money to manufacture. So why is that a big deal? Because you're switching from a cartridge that can be quickly manufactured out by the millions, quickly, cheaply, to one that is slower and more complex and more resource involved to produce. That's fine in small numbers. Again, we've already said this, but I want to really stress this point. That's a disaster on global conflict scales. Wars are won by the ability to manufacture. Plain and simple. Who can bring the most to bear? Who can bring fire superiority to the field? Let's talk about other downsides that are just not nearly covered enough in my opinion, and that's the accuracy.
You know, the 13-inch barrel gun and the GP ammo, is you're going to see that it's about a 3.5 minute system between the ammo and the gun.
M7 is shooting around 3.5 MOA. And that number came from the best shooting rifle from SIG themselves, brand new. I'm assuming they cherry-picked that one out of the litter to get these numbers. Because why would they use a poor rifle? So now will the rifle shoot 3.5 MOA when it starts facing wear, heat, dust, carbon, training cycles? Likely not. So realistically, the NGSW is probably going to be between 3 MOA and 6 MOA. That's awful. That's basically taking the military rifle and bringing it back to AK-47 accuracy standards. Now I get the M4s, I believe, don't quote me on this, between 2 and 6 MOA, but realistically an M4 is a relatively accurate rifle compared to the AK. The NGSW is not. And here's the truth people don't like to hear. It doesn't matter how powerful the cartridge is, how much kinetic energy it is, how much it can impact the target, how destructive it is, the super awesome ballistics, if it doesn't hit the target in the first place. And at 3.5 MOA, that's 3.5 inches at 100 yards. So at 200 yards, you're approaching the limits of a reliable headshot. At 500 yards, you're approaching the realistic limit of a center mass shot. Now, I'm not saying you can't make these shots. You absolutely can. But we're talking about first round reliable hits. If your rifle can realistically shoot in a circle this size, yeah, 80% or so is going to land on the target, but if we're talking about a first round, first contact hit, there's a good chance a shot could land here, 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 or here. You get what I'm saying here? Now another thing that I believe needs to be talked about more is the armor piercing capabilities. The claims are this rifle can somehow, magically, I don't really fully understand it, I don't see it in the numbers, penetrate modern body armor better than armor penetration 5.56 or 308 can. I need to see testing. Actual armor piercing 5.56, actual armor piercing 308 against actual armor piercing NGSW 6.8 by 51 NATO. And let's see it happen. If it can happen, okay, I get it. But armor penetration comes down to velocity. Yeah, it's got more velocity than the 308, but it doesn't have more velocity than the 5.56. Plus, you're also gaining weight, recoil, loss of accuracy, loss of logistics, loss of manufacturing speed. So is it going to have enough difference to make a difference to make those downsides worth it? We need to see testing, like I said, on actual armor-piercing ammunition against actual armor at different ranges and see if it brings to the table what it's been promised. Because that's what this whole program was sold on. oh my god, the Chinese and the Russian have all this crazy new body armor, and we need to be able to penetrate it, so 5.56 ain't gonna work, and 3 weight's not gonna work, so let's spend billions on a brand new rifle instead of just developing a better cartridge. So we'll have to see how that pans out. I'm curious to see how it goes. Now, as a civilian platform, this tech is awesome, and its advanced high pressure cartridges are transforming rifles and ammunition for hunters and shooters across the platforms. We are getting magnum power out of lighter packages, lighter cartridges with better downrange performance. As a general infantry rifle, I think it's a miss. I think they missed the mark completely. Not because it's dumb and not because it doesn't work, but because it's a narrow problem fixed by causing bigger logistical problems. So, is that one problem worth it? I don't think so. I think the logistical problems that we created by trying to solve that one problem was a terrible idea. So no, I don't hate the M7. As a matter of fact, I like the Scar 17. So I'm all about America, big rifles. Do I like the ammo tech? Absolutely. Do I love the engineering? Most definitely. Deployment of it? I believe that's questionable at best. I think that this was put in a terrible role. I believe it should have been more of a DMR. I believe it should have been more of like a specialist rifle, not a general infantry rifle. I just don't think that is where this rifle is going to shine. Time will tell. I could be 100% wrong. I don't know. We'll have to see how things go. However, if you'd like to support this channel directly and you don't want to buy any merchandise from only tactical fans at Shopify.com, there are a couple other ways you can do it. And one of those ways is an affiliate link I have in the description right down below for my Amazon page. Just by clicking on that link, even if you don't buy what that particular link is for, just clicking on it. And doing the Amazon shopping you're already going to do anyway. I have a little kickback for it because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Hey guys, and I just wanted to add, I apologize if this video was a little bit clunky and a little bit weird. Well, it's been 3 years since I've shot a video, so it's a little bit weird for me too. And I'm pretty sure I even left the microphone off, so the audio could completely suck, but we'll have to find out in editing. Anyway, I'm going to start to iron all these problems out, and I promise the videos will get better.